don't need to hold anything in your hands or your arms, just letting your body sink into the mat and bringing awareness into this moment in this room. You can start to lengthen your exhales. Draw nice long inhales. If you do want to set an intention for the class, you can take a moment to reflect on why you come back to your mat. Take one more breath here. And moving nice and slow on your inhale, you'll press into your hands, lift up, and just come into a tabletop position. So your wrists under your shoulders, shoulder width apart, and knees under your hips, hip width apart. So we'll just do a little bit of intuitive motion here. So anything that your spine is asking for, if you want to move side to side, maybe roll your hips in circles. Whatever your body feels like doing today, just listen to that. Yoga instructors just facilitate and give suggestions, but you're the guide, you're the teacher, because only you know what you're feeling. So take some time to do some wrist strengthening exercises. So lift your wrists up and down from a stable tabletop position. And then this time maybe come to your fingertips. So just doing kind of wrist push-ups, strengthening them for our sun salutations. And then come back to neutral wrists, neutral spine. And we'll move through a couple cat-cows. So exhale, and then on your inhale, you're gonna drop your belly, lift your gaze, and lift your hips. And then exhale, press all the air out around your spine as much as you can. Really press into that round. And then release. Do a few of these at your own pace, following your breath. So going as slow as you need to take full inhales and exhales. Inhale, hips rise, gaze rises, shoulders come back. Exhale, round, feeling each vertebrae move as you go through this. One more of these. Angry cat. Exhale around the spine, and then come back to neutral. You're gonna find integrity in your left hand, planting it firmly into the ground, maybe even draw it a little bit closer to you. And then on your inhale, lift your right arm in front of you. It's nice and long. And then you can press your left heel out, so opposite. Yeah. Just keep your neck in line and extend through your fingers and through your foot. You can flex your foot, really focusing on what the spine is doing here. So noticing if there's a rounding, just trying to make it nice and long. Hips are even. You drop the left glute a little bit. One more breath, and then crunch it all in together. Exhale, inhale, lengthen out, nice and long. Exhale, draw it in. One more of those. Inhale, lengthen, strong core, and exhale, right hand, left leg down to the mat. Take a breath. And then root your right hand into the mat. Lift your left arm forward on an inhale. Strengthen your core, and then lift your right leg out back. So again here, making sure the hips are even and level, your neck's in line and relaxed. Lengthen through the left fingertips out through the right heel. So there's a nice line of energy through your whole body there. And then exhale, crunch, engage your core, hold for a moment, And then inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, draw it in. Squeeze. Inhale, lengthen out long. One more, draw it in. And then bring the left hand and the right knee down to the mat. You're gonna tuck your toes now, and then just lift your knees just an inch off the mat. So here, engaging the core, pressing through the arms, making sure the shoulders are nice and strong on our back. So maybe even puff up the shoulders, kind of like we did with cat-cow, just isolating the shoulders here. And then exhale, press your hips back and come into a downward facing dog. So you can adjust your stance as needed. So press through the thumb and index finger, making sure the wrists are nice and rooted so that you protect the wrist. Pressing through the arms, you could probably actually take a little bit wider of a stance. Your arms can come forward a little bit, just want inverted V, and press a line of energy from your hands all the way through your arms, up through your spine and out through your sit bones, reaching high. Press your chest through towards the mat. You can have a soft bend in your knees and heels reaching towards the ground. On your next inhale, slowly walk up towards your hands until your feet are in between your hands. You can have a soft bend in your knees here. Just release the neck and head for a moment. And then slowly, at your own pace, maybe it takes a couple breaths, roll up, feeling each vertebrae stack on the other as you come to stand in Samastutihi. Take a breath here, reconnect into your body, maybe close your eyes, and just find a moment of stillness. On your inhale, raise your arms up towards the sky, and staying with the legs, you're going to exhale just your arms into cactus, so elbows coming out to the side, 90 degree. Make sure that your hips are staying right over your feet. You don't want to press too much forward. And just with your upper body, see if you can open the chest a little bit more. Draw the shoulder blades together, keeping the ribs tucked in. Inhale your arms up, and then exhale, fold over your legs. Plant your hands on the mat or your shins, and then inhale to lengthen your spine long. Exhale, hands come to the floor, and then step back into a plank. Take a moment in plank to find a really strong, stable position here. So body is in one line, hips are not coming too high or dropping too low, core is engaged. And again, notice what the shoulders are doing. So maybe take a moment to press through, separating the shoulder blades and drawing together, and then finding a nice neutral position in the upper back. You can drop to your knees and then bring your forearms to the mat, dropping your pelvis to the floor, coming into Sphinx. So chest comes forward, heart pulls through, pelvis drops towards the ground, legs are strong. Gaze can be just in front of you, towards the floor. And come back to the breath. Draw the shoulders back a little more. And then move back through a child's pose, finding eventually at your own pace, downward facing dog. So hips rise, finding that inverted V, pressing into the hands, pressing through the arms, hips rise high, heels come towards the ground. You can have a soft bend in those knees. Take 3 deep breaths here, engaging the lower abdomen. Breathing nice and deep. On your next inhale, raise your right leg up towards the sky. Draw the knee into your nose and then keep it high as you bring it through, coming into a lunge. Starting with a low lunge, drop your left knee down towards the mat. And once you've found stability here, you can raise your arms towards either your knee or up above you. Notice what your hips are doing. Try and square the pelvis here, drawing that right hip back, left hip forward. If you'd like to take a little bit of a back bend, you can. Otherwise, keep the spine stacked above the hips, core engaged. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. And then twist with your left arm coming over your right leg for a low lunge twist. If this feels good in the spine, just slowly work that a little bit more. And if you'd like, you can tuck the back leg and come to a high lunge twist. So hands are pressing together, creating strength in the forearms and the back. Nice strong back leg. And the gaze can be up over your right shoulder or straight ahead. One more breath here. And then either drop the knee or stay in a high lunge and then come back to center. Now press up to a high lunge and then straighten that front leg. The back leg comes in at a 45-degree angle. Wiggle the back leg in a little bit. And then arms come to a T. Moving into triangle pose, you're going to draw your left hip back, right fingers draw forward, and then fold over the front leg, either bringing the hand to your shin, the floor, maybe a block, and then open up to the side. Gaze can be up towards the top fingers or ahead of you. Try and draw the hips in towards midline. And find space in the right side. On your inhale, rise up. We'll pivot the feet. So left toes are facing the back of the room and right toes are facing in. And we'll just come to triangle on the other side. So left toes facing the front, which is now the back of your mat. Sorry. And then arms into a T. Bring your right hip back, left arm forward, and we'll drop into triangle on the left side. Right arm this time opens up towards the sky. Drawing your hips in and finding length in the left side body. Palate here is soft, just releasing tension where there doesn't need to be any. And breathe. On your next inhale, rise up to a T. Pivot the back foot in, so coming into a high lunge facing the back of your mat. You can bring your hands to heart center and then
Starting low, we'll drop the right back knee down and then twist over to the left side. So this time, right elbow is coming onto the left leg, finding a nice twist in the spine. Take your time and use the breath to move a little bit deeper into the twist. If you did so on the other side and it feels good, you can take the opportunity here to come into a high lunge, but you don't need to. Again, pressing the hands together, feeling some strength in the upper back. And a strong back leg. One more breath. And then release, come back to center, drop the back knee. Plant the hands, and we'll do the reverse. We're gonna lift the left leg, bring it into our nose, nice and high, and then come back into a plank position. Slowly lower your body all the way down to the mat, and then bring either cheek to the mat. Just relax for a moment. Gonna move into a gentle back bend, Shavasana. So your hands can come back behind you, palms on the ground. So palms facing down on the ground, and just relax back behind you, nice and straight. On your inhale, lift your chest and your head, but keep your neck in line. So just the upper back is working here. And flip your hands, palms on the ground. Lift a little bit higher, engaging the back body, and then exhale, release down. On your next inhale, draw the upper back up. Lift a little bit higher if you can, pressing into even the feet. And then inhale, lift your legs. And if you'd like, you can lift your hands as well. So the weight is pressing through your pelvis area, maybe a little bit on your lower ribs, and just see how much you can lift off the upper body there. One more breath. Exhale, come back down to the mat. This time, if you want to clasp your hands behind your back, that is a great option. Otherwise, we'll do one more just the same. So inhale, lift your upper body. And then if you want to lift your legs, you can do that. So find length here. Still pressing through like we were in that bird dog position. You're pressing through the feet, lifting through the crown of the head. Your body is being separated here as you're lifting. Hold for one more nice deep breath. And then exhale, release and come down. Reconnect with the breath. And then bring your hands by your sides on the mat. And just press your body up to come to sit on your knees. You can rise up when you're ready. So sitting high on your knees. And then we're gonna move into Gomukhasana. So right leg stays firm on the mat. If you'd like to turn and face the front of the mat, you can do that, you don't have to. So right leg is pressing into the mat. You're gonna bring your left knee behind your right knee so that your legs are crossing. From here, sit back between your legs. So your legs are opening out, or your feet are opening out to the sides, knees are stacked. Does that feel okay?
I can't have my sits bone on the floor yet.
Bring your leg out a little bit more. That's too much? So you don't need to bring the right leg too far back. The knees don't need to be stacked. And then from comfortable seated position, you're gonna bring your arms to a T. Bring your left arm behind you and then up. Right arm comes above your head and then meets, your fingertips are gonna meet each other. So right elbow towards the sky, left elbow towards the ground, your fingertips reaching towards each other. If they don't touch, that's okay. If they do, you can clasp them.
I can grab them.
Nice. And then inhale, expand through the chest, opening up, proud chest. And just exhale, holding here. If you'd like to play with just a little bit of spinal rotation here, that can feel really nice, but you don't have to. Listen to your body. Move with your breath. On your next inhale, you can release. Bring the hands in front of you. And lean forward a little bit, and we're just gonna switch the legs. So this time, the left leg will come in front, right leg behind. Legs are spread enough so that you can sit between your feet. And then again, if the hip mobility is not there, don't worry about stacking your knees. You just want to sit between your legs. The left sit bone does not need to touch the ground. Inhale your arms to a T. We'll go step by step. This time the right arm comes under and draws up. The left arm will rise up towards the sky and then drop back. If you feel any sharpness in your wrist or your knees, your hips, just back out of the posture. So left elbow towards the sky, right elbow towards the ground, fingertips reaching towards each other, strong core, proud chest, and just find some stillness with your breath here. If it felt good on the other side, to take just some gentle rotation of the spine, side to side, you can do that here. And then release your arms. You can uncross your legs to just sit on your bum with your knees bent in front of you. And then slowly roll onto your back. So come all the way down. Your heels are just enough away from you so that you can graze your heels with your fingertips. Just do a couple bridge postures here. So when you're ready, press your arms into the mat. Hips will rise up towards the sky. From here, tuck your shoulders under and press a little bit more. Your knees are drawing in towards each other enough so that they're even with your hips. Engage your core. Make sure you're not collapsing through the neck. You have enough space to breathe nice and deep. Again, moving at your own rhythm. When you want to come down, maybe hold for one more breath. And then you can lower when you're ready. We'll do 2 rounds, again, moving at your own pace. When you're ready, you can release your hips. I like to wiggle them a little bit side to side or forward and back just to feel a little bit of a release before moving up to the second side. So when you're ready, press through the feet, lift the hips high, This time maybe you'll clasp your hands behind your back, really opening up through the chest, shoulders drawing together. And breathe nice and deep. See how much you can relax the glutes while you press a little bit higher, engaging the hamstrings. And on your next exhale, you can release, come all the way down. If it feels good to draw the knees into your chest, give yourself a little squeeze. Maybe roll a little bit side to side, massage the spine. And then legs can come straight up above you, either having your back flat on the mat, legs up, and maybe you'll put your hands underneath your hips to raise up a little bit. Or if you like shoulder stand, you know shoulder stand, and you want to move into it, you can draw your knees towards your face. Lift your hips up so that they're stacked over your shoulders, and then support your mid-back with your hands. Legs are drawing together. Energy is moving up through your feet, and the weight is in your arms and your shoulders. So making sure you don't have weight in your neck. Avoid looking around here. Continually draw those shoulders together. If you need to come down a little bit to reposition. Inversions are a great way to calm the nervous system if they feel calming. So if it doesn't, just come down at any point. And then when you're ready, you can either draw the feet over top, toes coming towards the ground. You just untuck the toes, the tops of your feet are on the ground. Untuck the toes. And then pressurize with your arms and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll onto your back. Bring your knees wide, moving into a happy baby. So grab on the bottom of your feet and press into your feet with your hands and hands to your feet. So opening up those hips a little bit. Might feel good to rock a little bit side to side or roll the hips in circles. Maybe even you'll straighten the legs. Again, I'm just giving suggestions for what feels good in your body. And then if there's any other movements that you'd like to take here, you can do that now. Otherwise, I will guide us through just a gentle spinal twist. So if there's something that you're really craving, you can do that, or bring your knees together, drop your hips over to the left slightly, and knees will come to the ground towards the right. So find your knees coming towards the ground, over to the right. Once they are on the ground, you can root your left shoulder, your opposite shoulder towards the mat, and then gaze can come over the left shoulder. Keeping some integrity in the spine here so you're not just flopping into this posture. Breathe nice and deep. Full spinal twist here. On your next inhale, press your knees back up. Drop your hips slightly over to the other side. And then knees will come down to the left and at a 90-degree angle. Once your legs are on the ground, then reach your right shoulder towards the mat and then gaze over the right shoulder. Pressure in the arms. On your next inhale, we'll raise the knees back to center and then just stretch your legs long. Bring your arms up above your head, behind you, and stretch like a morning stretch. And then just release onto your mat for Shavasana. So the legs can splay out to the side. Your shoulders tuck under so you can lay here comfortably for a couple minutes. This wasn't a rigorous practice, but it is still important to just give your body some time to rest and soak up the benefits of the practice. So just keep the focus on the breath. Notice if you have a tendency to want to jump to the next thing. Just be here now, be with the breath. Feel gratitude for the time that you put in to do some self-love. Notice maybe the difference that you feel in your body or your mind from the start of practice to now. If you do have a few more minutes and you can stay here a little bit longer, that is great. Thank you so much for joining today. Namaste.